I've always had struggle finding what is exactly my thing, and I've always had also interested in like more scientific things and also more art stuff. And in type design, I found the perfect balance between both. So we had you do a lot of research, you do a lot of like also kind of mathematics sometimes, coding, but also it's a very creative thing to do.
In the beginning of my BA, I came to The Hague for a music festival, and I quite randomly discovered this master, and I realized, wow, this can be an actual profession to draw fonts.
When I was younger, my dad was a graphic designer, so I used to see him drawing type, and then I think when we'd be out, I'd start drawing it, and it kind of got ingrained in me a tiny bit as a child.
I've known of the program actually for many years. I found out about it pretty much randomly through the internet. I've been working and just sort of been in the back of my mind for a long time, and then suddenly the sort of stars aligned and I could start applying, and it was just always the right choice.
Like I would always like draw letters, like even when I was in school, and also before I studied graphic design, I kind of like didn't know so much about like design in general, and I learned during my studies that there is like actually like people doing type, and that was for me like, wow, this is so cool, like you can like actually design type.
Letters are just the sort of core of all sort of written and visual communication.
I always like really like the approach of this program, like starting with like doing a lot of things with your hands and like exploring it that way, because the way I started type design before, I was really like doing a lot of digital stuff, and I really wanted to learn how the shapes and forms like come to being also in a digital form, and I really also like to work with my hands.
It unites a lot of analog work, like the stone carving things and the historical research, a lot of drawing, a lot of calligraphy, which both I really like, but also a lot of digital things, and coding is one thing that I want to get to immerse myself in.
For now, we have a class every day, that or like at least 4 days a week,
day, yeah.
And it's 3 hours and a half. Then we just work on the assignments, on the homework, and we research for a revival project. We draw stuff for different classes. They have this one big idea that is behind all the classes, but every teacher is trying to teach us something different to make us explore some other aspects of various aspects of type design, and to understand it better.
On some of the other programs, they were maybe more based on research, and this course seemed quite practical and had a big variety of calligraphy, stone carving, coding, so that really appealed to me.
Some things can be super rigid, and I think like this program is exactly the opposite.
My favorite letter is the lowercase a.
It's the lowercase a.
Capital A.
I really like the capital E, especially with serif typefaces.
It's unique in the sense that it doesn't really reproduce in any of the other letters in the alphabet, the forms of it, but it's so fundamental, so it's just like, it's unique, but it's still important for everything else. Yeah.
There's not a letter that I don't like, but there are letters that are like harder to design. I think not letters, but numbers are always a bit hard.
Like Cyrillic is my native script, but I have problems with some Cyrillic letters, like the lowercase ya.
The letter C, because it's completely redundant. Like you have the S and you have the K. You don't really need the C.
It's just doesn't seem right to me in.
Like every letter can be nice if you make it nice.
I would like to work in the field, but I would also love to educate. and research. So I don't know how I will find time for this, but that's my goal. That's what I'm really into.
In the future, I would also maybe love to teach.
I'd also be interested in maybe teaching at some point in my lifetime.
At first, I would love to work in my studio that I worked as a graphic designer before I came here.
I'd like to possibly start a type foundry.
Probably on the side of that as well, I would love to publish some typefaces.
And yeah, at some point maybe have my own foundry or something like that. Yeah.
I believe that in a while we will find our way to how to collaborate the most efficient way possible.
We all did the letterpress workshop, which was very cool. I had never done a letterpress before that, and for me it was super interesting to try different colors, to see how the presses work, and yeah, to just play with the LED type.
I think we're doing a bookbinding workshop soon enough.
I'm looking forward to using the tufting and weaving, all the textile workshops. I would like to explore through that techniques and how I could like bring ideas from there to maybe coding, and how I could code to make something that I can later tuft or weave or embroider.
I've used the wood workshop a couple of times, the embroidery and the ceramics workshop.
Something that interests me, like how letters work like in 3 dimensions.
So we are about to start our stone carving class very soon. Looking forward to start all the new exciting assignments.
Yeah, and have even
less
time.
Yeah.
I think we are gonna be like family in a year, looking at the previous years of Type Media. I think we spent a lot of time together here in the studio. I think it's like our, I don't want to say only, but it's our also main social circle this year.